with fracking? And if it is the death of fracking in the UK, do you welcome it? Got another guest on this. Tom Burke is the chairman and founding director of E3G. They're experts on climate diplomacy and energy policy. He's also a former government advisor on climate change. First of all, Tom, thank you for coming on. Do you think this is it? Is it over?
I wouldn't claim it's over. It's over probably for Cuadrilla, but there are other people seeking to do fracking in Britain. So it may be the death knell, but it hasn't completely in the coffin yet.
Do you feel sorry for them? They spend a lot of money on this.
No, I don't feel sorry for them. It was never a very good idea. It always looked to me like trying to copy something that was going on in America without paying attention to the fact that the circumstances here are very different, both the geological circumstances and the economic circumstances. So I never thought it was a good idea.
What is the environmental impact of fracking?
Well, there are two, I think, that really matter. One, obviously, in the current circumstances, the fact that if you're developing gas, you're going to burn gas, then that's going to add to the problem of climate change. But the second one is, that in order to actually get the gas out of the ground when you are running it for production purposes, you're going to have a major impact on the surface, on the countryside, and have an impact on traffic, on water quality, on air quality, just from the operation of the fracking operations themselves. And that's pretty bad for those people who have the misfortune to live near those operations.
But the sites, as I remember seeing, I saw a drone film of the Cuadrilla site in Lancashire. I mean, it's not very big.
No, you're right about that, Ian, but that's only an exploration site. That's not a production site. That's just checking out whether there's enough gas there.
What does a production site look like? How big's that?
Well, take a look at bits of North Dakota or bits of Texas where you can see these things go on for miles and miles, because you have to build a series of these pads to get access. You can drill underground laterally about 2 or 3 miles, then you have to build another pad, and you have to build them in sequence and link them all up, and then you have to connect them with roads and so on. So there's a massive surface impact. Always kind of nonsensical that in any case, so the government would tell you couldn't have windmills because people locally objected to them, but was perfectly prepared to drive fracking ahead despite all the local opposition to it.
So even though it could reduce our reliance on coal, you would still advise against it?
It can't do that, Ian, I'm afraid. That's just simply wrong. We've got rid of our coal. So it might be possible for gas to do that in some parts of the world, but it definitely isn't here. So fracking here won't help you get rid of coal. We've had, I think, days and days and days when we don't use any coal anymore, and we've committed to getting rid of it by 2025 in any case. Well, nobody's going to be producing gas that fast.
What's your view on nuclear energy?
I wish we could afford it. I don't really. That was a joke. You can't build enough reactors fast enough to keep up with the ones that are going offline all over the world, let alone build enough to replace something else. And why would you want to do that when there are lots of better ways to get carbon out of our energy system?
All right. So your vision of the future is wind energy, solar energy. Is that going to be enough?
Yeah. Wind and solar, lots and lots of energy efficiency. I mean, 60 to 70% of all of the fossil fuels we burn ends up as waste heat. Now, that's doing nothing for the economy. It's just putting people's bills up. So the first thing to do is actually get rid of that. And if we did that, we'd be reducing fuel poverty, we'd be lowering people's energy bills, as well as reducing our carbon emissions. That's the first thing. Then I think as you move forward, you're going to be using a lot more wind and solar, using battery storage. All of that was going to help us to run an electricity system much more efficiently than the one we run now, when about most of it is not earning revenues a lot of the time. And most of the 90 gigawatts of generating capacity we have doesn't earn revenues a lot of the time because we don't need it to.
Most inventions, when they happen, first of all, they're huge. The first computer was like the size of a building, and now they're in our phones. Will those wind, what I call eyesores, but those turbines, will they become smaller eventually, or do they have to be that big?
I think the turbines will probably become bigger, at least most of them, but we'll be putting most of them offshore.
Fine, okay. And you don't mind the eyesores?
I don't think they are eyesores, but that's a matter of taste.
Nice one. Okay, thank you very much for talking to us, Tom. Tom Burke is a chairman and founding director of E3G. I don't know, just driving along the motorway and you see all these great wind turbines. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned. I don't know, it just looks wrong. But they're going to be offshore, so it's okay. We don't have to worry about that. Only the fishes are going to have to worry. So we're talking about whether or not fracking is over in the UK. And if so, do you welcome it?